So, very warm welcome and thank you so much, Romeo Cusini, the mayor of Suoz, for this kind and interesting word. And yes, of course, trust, mutual trust is important, so important as hope, and to bridge the gaps, to make new bonds. And this we try since 15 years. And for the celebration, we thought we'd do something special. And we have Ottobong Nkanga, who at the moment has a big exhibition at the Museum of Modern Art in Paris. And she will show a special exhibition here at the Chapel Saint-Bastien, which can be visited up from 6 this evening. Then later on, we have Trashel Harrell and the dance company who will perform at the Cesa Gregory before dinner, the festive dinner. Thank you all for being here, for joining us, and please, the curators, come up. As you know, that our Koyo Kouoh, our new curator, passed away unexpectedly to all our great shock and disbelief. And on her peak of her career, she was elected director of the Venice Biennial, and we would like to pay a tribute to her.
We thought we were all going to say something in homage to Koyo. We miss her very much. She worked with us on, I think, 2 Engadin Art Talks, and it was always amazing input, full of energy. I was, on May 7th, I was texting with her last year. And as usual, it was a lively exchange because if you knew Koyo, you also knew that she had strong opinions and was not afraid to express them. And then I went to the Ticino, to the valleys with my wife for some hiking in the Valle Bavona. It's a remote valley, beautiful valley in the Tessin. And then I think 3 days later, while we were hiking, Cristina called me and told me Koyo passed away. So obviously it was completely unexpected and shocking. So I hung up the phone and then we walk down and we go around this big rock and I look like this. And then in this rock, someone had chiseled, you know, with a hammer and a chisel, like, not just like graffiti, but like probably 100 years ago, a very nice sentence. And I thought, this makes sense. So I was saying, in questo monte che hai amato, grazie per l'impronta che hai lasciato. In this mountain, or we could say in this world that you loved, thank you for the mark you left behind. So I thought this says it all about Koyo. And maybe the one thing that I'm missing most is her laughter.
Her rockish smile.
Yeah, her smile and her laughter. And I thought, you know, we're going to have this weekend and we celebrate gaps and bonds and we celebrate life. So whenever on this weekend you have a big laughter, it's basically Koyo is present. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Cristina and Daniel, and thank you all for being here. And yes, we miss Koyo terribly. And there are so many dimensions to what Koyo did. No? A museum director, an amazing museum director at Sites Mocha, an amazing curator, an amazing writer, a curator of big international exhibitions, biennials, like the forthcoming Venice Biennial, which her friends will realize following her closely developed concept. An institution builder with Raw, somebody who really produced a new reality, but also a convener, which brings us to Engadin Art Talks. And Koyo said, she told us, I'm a lover of convening, of bringing people together to share ideas, and there are many formats for that, especially in our space of arts and culture, these conversations are essential. And that, of course, is why Koyo also made such an amazing contribution to this idea of the topic, really, of gaps and bonds and togetherness. As E.A.T Nan said, the world needs togetherness and not separation. I got to know Koyo for the first time really well when, in 2004, we spent a lot of time in Dakar. I was curating there Nanook Cinema, kind of a small chapter of the Dakar Biennial. But much more important than that is that we organized with Stefano Boeri and Koyo a gathering of African architects. We wanted to kind of map the amazing kind of generations of African architects, many of them not so known outside Africa, for Domus magazine. And Koyo there in this conversation made such amazing remarks, which I think resonate for me until today, about this idea that we need to think about long duration, that we need to think about how we can create long durational impact, now in a way connecting very much what Daniel told us. And then, of course, I was thinking also one thing which maybe is not so often mentioned about Koyo, but which is so very much at the core of why work continues to last, why her work continues to last, is the way she really was an accomplice and a very close friend of artists, and how she supported artists very often from the very beginning. We're going to have Ottobong Nkanga here with us. Koyo introduced me to Ottobong many, many years ago, worked with Ottobong from the very beginning in the year 2000. But not only young emerging artists, also history. And maybe the most important figure Koyo always kept coming back in our conversation is Issa Sam. And I want to talk here for a minute about her passion for the Agit Art Laboratoire, because this is such an important interdisciplinary collective, one of the most influential art collectives of the 20th century. They did 3 performances, workshops, manifestos, installations, all kinds of formats. Agit Art Laboratoire was an incredible vision, and Issa Sam was the radical figure who led it. And for Koyo, really a kind of mentor. I wanted to conclude by quoting Ottobong Nkanga from a visual poem she dedicated to Koyo. Here is the extract. A dream, is it real? A dream has faltered. We would say, but let's imagine, let us see the seeds that have been planted deep in all corners of the world, in the pulse of our hearts, in dry soils now fertile, ready to sprout. And I think that's what it's all about, is that the many seeds Koyo put in this world will for many years continue to sprout. And I love the quote the mayor was reading at the beginning about these legami che crescono nel futuro. No? I think the connections Koyo created will continue to grow in the future. Thank you so much.
Dear Koyo, when I first met you, I think 2-3 years ago, I felt as if we had known each other much longer. We started to speak in English. After a while you smiled. Ich weiß eigentlich nicht, wieso alle mit mir immer Englisch reden. We laughed. You described the laughter of Koyo. We laughed and decided to go on in Swiss German. Something, the accent sounded familiar to me, but I couldn't say what. I asked where you had grown up in Switzerland. You probably don't know the place. You answered, it's in the Limmatal, Neuerhof. I lived in the neighboring village on the other side of the Limmat in Wyralos. Again, we laughed. We grew up walking distance in the 80s. We laughed again. The horse you took care of as a teenager was in the same stable as the one my sister took care of. I'm sad that we only met each other so few times. Every time that you entered the room, it immediately lit up with friendliness. It was as if the space began to smile. I felt that I had much to learn from you. The plan was that you would show me Cape Town, and I would show you the old horse stable. We miss you, Koyo.
Yes. Thank you so much. And now we are very honored that Philipe Mall, the husband of Koyo, will play a short tribute to Koyo. Please, Philipe.
That's my things. First, I would like to thank Dale and Cristina for the invitation. It is an honor for me to be here and to remember Koyo with you together. She left us unexpectedly in a world that gets dumber and dumber every day. Globally, it's all about natural resources and dominance, but what we need is wisdom, and she had that. I played 2 tunes. One is, sorry, I have to fix that. One is a piece from the legendary John Coltrane. It's called Wise One. And the second tune is from me, dedicated to Koyo. It's called Bye Bye My Love. Mm-hmm.